right, welcome back to the VA podcast. We have a good friend visiting us today. Good friend, good associate, good business partner. He is the founder, and what
does that mean?
I don't know. What's your correct title?
Founder, Dean of CCU, Club Champion University. I'm also the Executive Vice President of Operations.
Wow. That's impressive.
They call me Slash. I have so many titles.
And we call him Slash, Slim, you name it. He's got a bunch of good titles here.
I mean, I clean toilets too.
Yeah, we all do that. That's part of being a founder. But thank you for visiting Pinehurst and coming to the awesome VA
this
podcast
is cool.
studio.
Look at this.
You like this?
I do.
We built this just for you.
Just
in anticipation of you coming and visiting.
Is that from Amazon?
No, that's from Temu.
Does Temu make VA shafts?
Did you hear about Temu? They put supposedly they put like little tracking systems in their shipments.
Oh, so it's another government tracking you?
I don't think they'd put it in a whatever you would call that, a shelving unit.
Yeah, it's a shelf.
But but like if you ordered, say, a iPhone.
They have lab knockoffs on Temu now you can get.
How does that? Let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about.
That's why I was asking: do they have knockoff VA shafts?
No. We have very specific. Number one is our graphics are very difficult for us to even make, and yet alone for someone to copy.
Yeah, you're kind of into superheroes.
Yeah, well, that's Heather, and that's fine. People like it, and
she didn't marry a superhero. She's living a fantasy through golf shafts.
I've had to put up with you at 4 hours on the golf course today.
I played good today.
You did. You did
too.
You know.
We have a chance.
You know what absolutely amazed me today?
What?
Is that you didn't top it off the first hole.
I actually hit it really good off the first hole. I hit it to like 12 feet. Missed the ball.
There's about a 95% chance that Nick, on the very first hole of a tournament, will top it and hook it left, OB.
I like to sit out like the first 3 to 5 holes so that I can settle into the round, kind of get focused, get concentrated, then I start playing.
Well, you threw me off today by actually being in the hole.
The first hole, but then I wasn't in the second, third.
You topped it on the second.
Yeah, topped it there.
Picked up.
Yeah, and then third hole, I hit a good drive, but hit a bad second shot. I just picked up. Might have picked up on the fourth, yeah.
No, the fourth hole you were putting.
Oh, okay.
Par 3, remember?
Oh, yeah. I think I 3-whacked that, though.
So this episode is brought to you by Modelo, the best beer in golf, and pronounced Modelo, and in Spanish means Modelo.
Yeah. I don't know if you know that.
What don't I know?
What it meant in Spanish.
So, let's get down to
let's get down and dirty.
Let's get down to some important topics that might actually benefit
these world problems
one of our listeners.
Yeah.
Why are you so bad at golf?
I've been chasing that question for 27 years. That's why Club Champion is what it is. I'm chasing my own golf game.
Yeah, that's true. How are we going to play
Everybody
tomorrow?
goes, we get a bad rap sometimes. It's like this ultra salesy, whatever, blah, 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 online people chirping. And if they knew the whole story, like I started this business as a guy who nobody in my family golfed. They didn't have money for golf. So I had to figure out golf myself, and I chased this dream of golf equipment because I was told, oh, you're not good enough, it's not worth spending the money. And I'm like, well...
Which they were kind of right.
No. See, I still chased the dream. And so I said, hey, if this is going to help me, then I'm gonna, I'll find the money. I'll find the time. So here we are 27 years later. I'm a better golfer.
So
think about how bad I would be if I didn't.
So we're just going to back up a second here and talk about you started this company how long ago now?
1998.
1998, and you are how many locations now? Just total them up. Why do you always break it out in domestic and international? Just total them up and give me one number this time.
Now I don't want to.
It's like 135 and 11 locations or something like that.
God, you got it so wrong. See,
what is it?
It's 149 total.
Okay, all right.
11 international.
Somebody asked him that today.
138 domestically, 11 international.
Okay.
4 in Canada, 3 in the UK, 4 in Australia.
What is the advantage of breaking it down into two different
it just,
things?
I feel like clear
Sounds better?
I feel like clear communication is important in this world.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Good enough. What do you think, Big D?
Sounds good.
All right.
Room to expand.
Room to expand. And so, just a little bit about a plug for VA. We are in every location, and Club Champion is our biggest customer. Spider on the floor. And
I hope he bites you.
And
it's good stuff. I mean, obviously, I've known you forever. You're like one of the oldest shaft guys on the planet at this point.
Is that a good thing?
Yeah, well, that's why I trusted you when you brought out these shafts. I'm like, well, if Vic's in on it, he's making good shit.
Thank you for that one.
And
that
you're
one
going to
positive
listen.
comment.
And you're going to listen to the fitters. So we're gonna say, hey, we got this problem for this kind of player. We got this problem for that kind of player. Can you help us solve it? And then you make a shaft for us.
Well, the good thing about Club Champion is there are, I don't know, tell me the different combinations, like all the different shafts and 65,000.
Yeah, we say 65,000 combos, but really when you look at it, I mean, we have every
probably more by now.
Yeah, right? Well, it's way more.
Yeah.
But I tell people, I go, listen, there's shafts anywhere, as you know, from 29 grams up to 170 grams.
Yeah.
Most people don't know that.
Yeah. And we try and put shafts on the wall that are going to give fitters a lot of different options to fit the consumer. And I think we've been really successful at that, and Club Champion obviously is successful, so it's been a good partnership. Let's kind of touch on some topics that I looked up on ChatGPT. Wake up. Top mistakes golfers make when buying golf clubs off the rack.
Well, I talk about this a lot. I mean, my favorite one is well, my buddy said this was what I should play. Because your buddy knows what he's doing. Because he's a better player, because he knows what he's doing. That's what I love about, PGA professionals, too. Everybody at my club, they all think, and don't get me wrong, Nick's a great guy, okay? But they think he knows everything golf. And I'm just like, guys, he knows the golf swing. He knows how to run a tournament. He knows golf cart fleet management. But if you think he knows an ounce about clubs compared to myself or you, that is silly.
Yeah. Well, and the difference too is that you have all the options and all the different heads, but
we eat, sleep, and breathe it.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah. It is, and we talk about this every time we get together and do a video. Is how can people spend the kind of money that they do, play golf? I mean, join clubs, play a lot of golf, but yet not really pay attention to
Did you see the guys we played with today?
Yeah.
Who are nice guys, great guys.
Yep.
I was looking at their golf bags. They got a couple good clubs in there, but generally speaking, they don't have the right setup.
Yeah.
It amazes me.
And the one bought a new driver. Well, a new old driver.
That's what's amazing. It's like the other day, Marty, our buddy Marty, now he's a guy that gets it, right? So he gets fits. And then all these guys want to buy all these clubs off him, right? And I'm just like, at our club, I'm like, I know what you spend a month to play golf. and you're really buying clubs out of another guy's trunk, like, that's insanity. Buy a $600 driver off the shelf, buy a $600 driver out of somebody's trunk, when you could go get fit for one that actually works for you.
Yeah.
And it could be anywhere from $600 to $1,000. What are we talking about? It's a rounding error for most golfers.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they think of it, they're like, again, they're in their mind, it's, I'm not good enough for it to matter. Well, then just don't fucking play the game. That's what I tell them. You know what? I go up to guys at the club and I'll go, you know what? Let's go inside and get your resignation letter in. They'll go, what are you talking about? I'm like, so you're going to play at this place with that? You might as well just take it and go play the Muni 9-hole executive course down the street.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I don't get it. And, we're playing a member guest all week.
We're going to win a member guest.
Well, yeah, we might win. We might have a chance this year. We moved for the second flight all the way up to the 8th flight. So yeah, we
got a good caddy.
There's a good chance.
But
but I guarantee we're going to play with players through the same thing. You're going to look in their bag, and nobody.
And I'm going to tell them.
What do you think the chance? What do you think the chance of any of these guys have gotten custom fit?
Not a lot of them.
Which is good for our
define
business.
Custom fit. They might think in their mind because they went to the demo day or the fitting day. They now call them fitting days, not demo days. Fitting days. Nothing changed except for the name. I fucking love it.
Yeah. And so, what do you think about that? I mean, it's closer. It's closer than buying stock. At least it's one step closer.
I guess.
Just saying. Got to throw somebody a bone, man.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it is. It's just like this isn't the difference between buying a Ferrari and a Mercedes or a Mercedes and a Buick. Like you can have the Ferrari for a couple $100 more. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Listen to this. I think we've talked about this. I don't know. You play golf once a week. We play golf today. How long were we out there today?
Too long.
Yeah. Okay.
It's hot as hell.
5 hours and it was hot.
Yeah.
Okay. What else am I going to do for 5 hours this week? Sleep, eat, work. Golf is a top 5, 6 thing in most people's life if you're a golfer. So now you're telling me you'd rather, buy that Chanel bag or, buy that watch that you could look at your time on your phone. Like, whatever it is, you're going to go spend money on something stupid. And then you're going to tell me that a top 5, 6 time consumption thing in your life you're not going to spend extra money on? When you think about it like that, it blows my mind.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like the other day, somebody, this is going to sound really bad, but everybody thinks that I have a ton of money, which I don't. But they go, hey, Nick, why would you fly, I think it was even you, why are you flying Southwest instead of United first class? It's a fucking hour and 10-minute flight. I'm not spending money on an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah, but I mean, you need a big seat.
I'll split. Well, I do. Actually, I am now well beyond the seatbelt extender. Like, it's not even a question mark anymore. I am so in. I even have to tighten it a little.
Whoa. Do you carry your own seatbelt extender, or do you have to ask?
No, back when I was fat like that fat.
Yeah, you're still kind of fat.
Yeah, well, I'm fat, but when I was that fat,
you're obese. So that's a bad
morbidly obese.
Yeah.
That's a bad term. So anyway, back to me being morbidly obese. I'm just obese now.
Okay.
But when I was morbidly, I would ask for it. You know me. I have no shame. I just walked out. Hey, you got a seatbelt extender? When I walked in, they'd hand it to me, and I'd continue walking. I wouldn't try to be shy about it. Look at me. I mean, what am I going to fucking hide it?
Why is it that if the plane's completely full and there are like only 2 seats left, why do you think that the seat next to you is usually open?
I'm a big fucking dude.
Yeah. Okay. Just wanted to point
Plays
that out.
into my favor.
Just wanted to point that out. So let's talk about the psychological advantage of being properly fit. Does it affect your confidence? Can it translate into lower scores? So I guess that question.
Well, there's performance, but is there a psychological advantage?
Yeah,
I believe there is. Knowing, but this is where people get in their own head sometimes. math is math, so it's just like when you get fit, there's just certain numbers. And then after that, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
So to me, when I get up there, I know that I have the right club. I got to execute now.
Okay.
Guess what? Executed okay today.
Yeah, you kind of did. You really surprised me. I think that sim that you have in your house and playing all winter, I think that actually helped.
Yeah, it's nice to
And
have.
your short game usually is.
But most people will be like, Nick, you've been around golf your whole life. Why did it just take you till now to do that? Well, because I didn't want to stay at work. Now that I have a sim at home, it also helps too that the kids are getting into golf. Yeah. And sims are getting pretty sweet now.
Yeah.
I have the TrackMan IO. I mean, those graphics are sick.
Yeah, they look really good. They look realistic.
Especially now that I got that new laser projector.
Yeah.
Laser beams.
Yeah. How much was that thing?
I don't know. Like $3,000 maybe?
Do you know why? Because you're rich.
I think it's like $3,000. Well worth it.
Let's talk about
again because I play so much golf. Why would you not?
Can we get back to me?
It's always about you.
Let's talk about brand loyalty, and does brand loyalty hurt your game? So, like, what happens
It
if
can.
the diehard Titleist guy actually gets fit better into something else?
It can. I mean, listen, when you come in, we're going to ask you if you have brands you like, right?
Yeah.
Because in a perfect world, we'd be able to match the brand with the performance. That way, getting back to the psychological part, you'll have those two things, no doubt, right? But it's not always possible. But that's why, we break everything down into very pieces. Like we work on shaft, then we work on head, so you can see the differences in the numbers that each product does.
Yeah.
So that you can, make that decision. And a lot of times people they go, I thought I wanted Titleist, but wow, look at this Shrixon. It's unbelievable. So, in a lot of places you go get fit, you're handed a club, then you're handed another club, but they're not the same. Like here we try to break it down variable by variable so that the customer can truly see what that difference is so they can be convinced. Because we want them at the end to be like, okay, maybe that wasn't the one I was thinking, but man, I'm excited.
Yeah. Do you think people have a hard time making that change? Like let's just say they're a Titleist guy. Titleist guys are they're really true.
Yeah,
true
well,
Titleists.
I mean, you got them all. They're all loyalists at some point. But I think it's gotten a lot better over the years. I mean, listen, when I got into this, the whole point was let's take brand out of it, let's take price out of it. Now, we got all the different brands, and we got all the different prices, but it should be about performance.
Yeah.
So, again, in a perfect world, we'll try to make sure that we try to get you into what you want to be in. But that's just not always possible, so then you got to trust the data. And you know what? A lot of people change their mind after they fit. I always love it when we call our customers before they come in for their fit, get to know them, things like that, know what we want to get into. And, one of the things that we'll sit there and do with them is go, hey, I don't even know where I was going with that. Sorry.
You know what? The good thing is I wasn't listening, so I don't know where you're going either.
Yeah, I don't even remember the point. I kind of want to take a nap.
I know.
This chair's nice.
Is he still in camera? Because he's practically laying down now.
No. I stood up again.
Why are you so red?
Because I was in the sun today. I did use sunscreen, but
Are there all these years and all these times doing this? Is there any crazy story that you can share during a fitting, whether it was a good thing, a good fitting or a bad fitting?
I remember what I was going to say. I always love when people, you're doing the pre-fit call and they say, yeah, I just want to come in and get my specs. I'm not going to buy anything. I'm like, bet you'll change your tune when I give you 30 yards. And then they go, well, I'll just hit more club. Oh, you will? Every club less you have.
So
in
why are
the
you
green.
doing it in the first place?
Every
That's the
club,
question.
because I want to prove a point to them that they don't think
No,
about it.
I'm saying why are they getting fit in the first place?
Well,
If
that's a great point. But I sit there and I tell them, I go, listen, you don't hit. You think you'll hit more club? Guess what? Every club less you go on average is like 15 feet closer to the pin.
Yeah.
So now you're telling me if you're hitting a 30 extra yards, you're hitting a pitching wedge instead of hitting a 7-iron or an 8-iron.
Right.
Now you're the difference between a 10-footer and a 30-footer. I want more 10-footers.
how about somebody that comes in, gets custom fit, goes through the whole fitting. They've obviously paid for it, and they get the specs. And they said, "Let me think about it." They take the specs and they start shopping it. I know the answer to this, but what's your?
I mean, people can do whatever
What's
they
your
want.
feeling?
Well, this is where we get a bad rap. People could do whatever they want. Do I teach my guys to make sure that they really go after the person to get the value proposition behind? You bet your ass. But it's because I want you to get what you saw in that fit. People don't realize, like, there's the fit, right? That's one part of it. You have to get the fit out on the golf course. You got to get that performance out on the golf course. Well, as you know, because you build part of the golf club, the shafts, there's a lot of freaking variables into that. I mean, if they're not talking about swing weight when you get fit, you already should walk out of there. And here's why. If you get fit, you got your specs, and it's supposed to be D5, and it comes out to D2, guess what? That shaft's now going to play stiffer. Think about it. It's not as much weight at the end. Vice versa, it'll play weaker. So the point is that we marriage our fit to the build so that you get the results outside, just like the tour players get.
Yeah.
And, people then will argue with me, well, I'm not a tour player. Okay. Then don't buy clubs ever. Okay. Then just never buy another golf club, because at the end of the day, I mean, if we're going to sit there and play the game and we're going to spend any money on it, why wouldn't you get something that works out on the golf course?
Yeah.
And that's part of it, because now, every Tom, Dick, and Harry, we fit. Okay. That's just one piece of it. I could sit there and dissect their fitting. Maybe it's great. Maybe it's good. Maybe it's not. But I can tell you one thing. There aren't very many people on this earth that then build the club and translate the performance. And people go, well, why is it so expensive? You've seen our facility. How many of those facilities have you seen before? There ain't many of them out there.
No, not at all.
There's an investment that goes into that. There's a process that goes into that. And we do that in order to ensure you get the results out of the fit.
Yeah.
It's not just to sell you, okay? Yeah, we're a business. There's no getting around that. But the fact of the matter is this, and I tell every customer that, we don't have very many pissed off customers, but when we do, I go, listen, we built this off happy customers, okay? We haven't put money into this thing. Well, personal money at the beginning, but since then we've grown organically because of making happy golfers.
So, if you walk away and you say it's a a Callaway Elite 9 degree, it's got a Sinister 65S in it and a Golf Pride grip on it, and then somebody knows what those specs are, and it's a D2 swing weight.
Yeah.
They can go out and they could potentially buy the components. They can't buy ours direct, but somehow they find these maybe from other vendors, whatever it may be, and they put it together. The problem is that when you guys know the exact frequencies on your demos, the exact weights of your heads, everything's
well, as you know,
you're not gonna match that.
These guys all think, like, golfers think there's like this universal measuring system in golf.
Yeah,
every manufacturer does.
Frequencies are all different.
So the other day I had a person that just wasn't quite understanding our build process, and they were local to Chicago. So I actually invited them in to give them a little bit of a tour of the facility. They were blown away. Specifically, when I showed them the calibration we do between the stores and the build shop with swing weight scales. So we have a calibration club.
So
then we have a calibration block for our loft and lie. And they were like, well, those machines look alike. Won't they make the club the same? No, because you're sitting there bending on them. So 0 for that machine, 0 for that machine, 0 for that machine are all going to be different. So you got to zero them off something else. So we've actually make a calibration block that our stores have and our build facility has. So what we can translate everything the fitter did and the equipment they used to measure it to build your clubs. And that's how we get the performance. That's why we have a perfect guarantee. That's why we can back up our build. But if you want us to order it through the manufacturer, we can't back it up. And people take that as like, are you saying TaylorMade builds bad golf clubs? No. They just, it's a way different volume game. But number two, their equipment doesn't match our equipment.
Yeah.
So, and they don't SST pure. They don't have a lot of that kind of stuff. So, that's the extra steps we take. And by the way, that's the extra steps they take for their players on the PGA Tour, LPGA Tour, DP Tour, Hanes Underwear Tour. I don't know.
Question for you. I was just thinking about while you were talking, and I wasn't listening to what you were saying, but do your irons, do you think that you need to go back and take a look at irons and lofts and lies at a certain frequency?
At least once a year.
I mean, depending on how much you did. So guys
Well,
that are playing a lot.
if you hit it,
Say
if you
you're
hit balls a
professional
lot,
level.
yeah. Oh, they're doing it like weekly.
Yeah.
They're doing it like weekly. But if you're hitting balls every day, you should probably do it 2, 3, 4 times a year. By the way, at Club Champion, if you buy clubs from us, Loft and Lies are free for life. We always have your specs on file.
Do you have a lot of people that do come back and get?
It's getting better, and
It's something you don't think about, right?
No, but we try to educate the consumer on that the first time they come in.
Yeah. How about like once a head is locked into a shaft, and it's like you set it at standard, 1 degree up, whatever it may be. How often do guys actually go in there and take a wrench and change it?
I don't see it happen that often.
Yeah, half the people probably don't even know how to do it. Is my guess.
Well, and the manufacturers don't even really give wrenches out anymore. They figure there's enough out in the world. Yeah, Ping, you still get a wrench every time you buy something. They might be the only one left.
What do you think? What do you think is the biggest piece of technology that you guys use, or the most important technology that you use when doing custom fitting?
Well, the TrackMan. We have a pretty cool setup. So actually, that was what I was on the call with before we got on this. Not only do we use TrackMan, and we've used TrackMan for like 15 years, and everybody loves to throw out arguments of which launch monitor is better. Listen, they're all good, okay? And by the way, it's all apples to apples because you're going to hit your existing club before we even get into anything else. But we love TrackMan, and to me, it's the best of all worlds. You get to see the swing, you get to see the club, and you get to see the ball. By the way, that's about the only unit that does that. The other thing we use is we created our own AI co-pilot. So, we take 1 million swings a month in our fitting bays. Isn't that unbelievable?
Yeah.
And so we have just this immense amount of data for 330 fitters fitting golf clubs, and so we went and hired one of these data companies, Inspire 11. This is like 4 or 5 years ago, and we built this great AI. And listen, after learning about AI and how that whole machine learning and everything works, you're never going to replace the fitter. And even the data scientists in that, they're like, you can't, but you can make them smarter. Okay, because with the amount of, 20 years ago, there was 4 shafts, 10 shafts to choose from.
Yeah.
Now there's
a zillion.
Yeah, a zillion. So I sit there and tell everybody, I go, listen, you say that guy or gal or whatever down the street's a great fitter. Well, how many options do they have? And how much are they given? That's what I love is when you come to us, we have the most options of any place on the planet.
You do.
But that's hard. Nobody can be that good. So not only do we have the best fitters and the best selection, now we have a machine learning helping them, the co-pilot.
Yeah.
You get a call, spam call.
Yeah.
So I probably forgot to pay a porn subscription.
I put a deposit down on a robot, Tesla robot.
That one you sent a video of?
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
No, you didn't.
I did.
You can put a deposit down already?
Yeah, you can put a deposit down on a robot. It's like $30,000.
You didn't put a $30,000 deposit down.
Did you see that robot?
Yeah.
How well it moves now?
Yeah.
Did I send that to you too, Big D? Mm-hmm. Is that cool or what?
I want one.
I'm really excited about that. It's going to be able to do your wash, do the dishes.
Caddy for you.
Caddy for you? How cool is that?
That'd be sick.
We need to. That's one of the websites we ought to do is robotcaddy.com.
Oh,
hold it.
Yeah. You actually black that out. We don't want to give that idea out.
Yeah, so we'll
For like the four people that'll listen to this.
There's 6.
Oh, sorry.
And, well, actually, how many people do we have in our family?
Well, my 3 kids, but they won't listen. So my wife.
But, man,
maybe my mom.
Hey, think about it, man. The robot's going to be carrying your golf bag.
They're pretty cool. Like lawn work. I like doing lawn work sometimes.
Picking up dog poop.
Yeah.
Dishes, laundry.
Wonder how strong that thing is. You think pretty strong.
Think how much sleep we could get.
You think you can teach it to beat somebody's ass too?
Yeah. The only thing that slightly scares me is sleeping, and that thing maybe going a little.
Can't you unplug it?
Going a little crazy. Those things will be so advanced that it's like, do not touch me, do not unplug me.
It's not possible.
What do you mean?
Now you're making it sound like they're auto flex golf shafts, where they just morph in mid-speed swings.
Yeah, that's kind of true. But think about it. I mean, if somebody gets hold of technology that can take over all the robots,
you can always shut it down.
How?
Same way you shut down a person.
No.
Kill them.
What if the thing's takes over and it's like, hey, you
can create
don't get close
what's
to
the
me.
tool? What's the thing
zapper?
they make movies about that?
A zapper?
It's going to take out the whole
EMP
power
pulse.
grid.
What?
Is it?
Electromagnetic pulse.
Yes.
Well, that's we're looking at as a business venture. That's where we need to do is anti-robot equipment.
I actually think it's pretty easy.
That's where we should go right now. Is because it's a given that robots are going to be here. Like in the next 5 years, there'll be robots.
I like
Korea.
Those little robot dogs.
Oh, those are really. Trump has one of those running around outside.
What?
Yeah, he's got robot dogs running around.
The White House?
No, that Mar-a-Lago.
Mar-a-Lago?
Yeah.
Do they bark?
I don't think they bark, but they run around and they sense anything. You can't get past those dogs.
We need one of those.
We should find one.
See if we can sneak around.
We should find one. You know what?
You think they sell used on eBay?
We could get one of those dogs to chase geese on golf courses.
See, we've just come up with 4 multi-million-dollar ideas in the last 5 minutes.
The best idea I like.
The best part is
anti-robot.
That we're way too lazy to do any of it.
True, but it's kind of nice to talk about. But the best idea is the anti-robot technology. That's what Hey, we could build certain closets that the robot has to go into at night. And it's a steel closet that the robot has to go in, charge at night, and the only way it can get out is the owner has to do a combination or something like that. I mean, how are you going to be able to sleep at night not knowing if that robot's going to go nuts and try and kill you?
Well, don't they have the sex robots already over there in
you would know.
Asia?
You would know.
I haven't seen them here in the States.
So Korea actually passed a law that allows your robot to walk the streets.
Can you marry a robot?
Could. That might be the only chance.
I've been married twice.
When Stacy unloads you.
No, I'm not going a third time.
No, you get a robot.
No.
Robot won't dump you.
Yeah, well, I might be the first
Maybe.
case. Yeah, I might be the first case.
But if you do get a robot, I've got some equipment that you might want to buy, a closet and anti-robot equipment.
Okay.
So, all right, what else we got? Anything else of importance that you want to talk about? What is the what is
I thought there was other questions.
There is. What's the one club most amateurs are misfit in?
Putter.
Then this thing says spoiler. It's usually the driver or putter.
Yeah, well, because people love the big dog. But if you're asking me, I don't think many people.
Why would you say putter?
Well, I don't think most people have ever looked at their putter. I don't even think most people know that there's different lofts on a putter. You can make your putter a different loft, or that there's even maybe loft on a putter. Then you start looking at shafts, lengths, weights, lie angles. I mean, shit, and it's the club you use on every hole. It's 40%. Yeah, it's 40% of your game.
Wow.
And I don't think most people pay attention about it. And then they'll go and do club fittings, putter fittings. That's like a gadget that goes on it, but it's nothing reading anything. Or they have that thing that pays attention to the golf ball rolling, which I think is stupid because it's like the chicken and the egg. You got to have the right putter to get the ball rolling correctly. So we look at the putter more, and then the ball rolls correctly. And I think it's the right way.
They do ball fittings for. We were talking about that on the golf course today.
Yeah.
And
Ballnamic, it's my favorite one.
Do you think? I wonder if a ball makes very much difference while you're putting.
It does, but it's not where it does make a difference. But funny, so Marty Jetson from Ping, smart, brilliant guy. He's the one that they don't sell balls, so they created the software Ballnamic, where every golf ball's on there. I mean, every golf ball, even all the little encores and all that shit's on there. And it talks about that in there, educates you about golf balls. I mean, I think people look at it strictly from driver, which I think is pretty important. But I think irons and 60 yards in, I don't think people give enough attention to their golf ball. Putting, I would say it matters, but it's the least amount. That's a feel kind of, which you could say changes things, but really you should be picking a golf ball off basically a 6 iron, a driver, and your 60 yards wedge shot.
Did you have you done a ball fitting for yourself?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously as a club junkie and a club fitter, I had fit myself into a Strixon XV years ago, and I've always loved it. People think it's weird. They're like, "Oh, I didn't even know Strixon," blah blah. So I've played it, and then this Ballnamic comes out. And literally, you answer a couple questions. You don't put in there what you currently play. You just answer some questions. Then you hit drivers, you hit 6 irons, you hit wedges on TrackMan or whatever. You can hit it on any launch monitor.
And then you put in the spin and all that?
It'll either directly talk to it or you can load it in yourself. And it'll spit out the best and then a second. And when I did it, guess what it spit out?
The Strixon Z?
XV, yeah. I thought that was pretty wild. I mean, they have every ball on the planet in there.
We should have Sophie do that.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's good stuff. It's like I said, we're trying to work with them right now to embed it into our Copilot so that we don't have to do 2 freaking softwares.
Yeah.
We don't have to have TrackMan, Ballnamic, just so at the end, we'll give Ballnamic obviously the credit, but we want at the end, okay, this was the head shaft, and by the way, this is the ball you should play, and here's why.
Yeah. Yeah. That's totally interesting.
You actually listen to that?
Yeah, kind of.
We'll have to get it. I want to have a login, so we'll get Sophie a.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of interesting. I don't play enough golf to probably merit.
What ball were you playing today? Titleist?
Yeah, I played Titleist. Pro V ones maybe.
Yeah, I've played XVs for quite a while now.
I go back and forth. I don't know how much difference it makes.
I would say probably. I'd say the normal Pro V is probably the best for you.
You think?
Yeah.
Why? Because it spins more?
It actually spins less off the driver and more off the irons. And I think that's a good thing for you.
All right. I asked you this before. We're gonna wrap it up because A, you're kind of boring me, and B,
you're hungry.
No, I'm not actually hungry.
I'm not either.
I don't know. I haven't been eating that much.
Kind of a little thirsty.
Yeah. This episode is sponsored by Modelo.
Let me. You mind if I do a new segment presented by Modelo? That's what you should say. What do you say to people that say that you're a sucky golfer?
Do you have any crazy stories? Anything that pops out of your head that that's odd, good, bad, indifferent?
I've got one.
What's that?
Do you guys ever do private fittings for super VIP customers?
Oh yeah, actually we had what's his name? Nico Puka, the wide receiver for the Chargers, really good. He wanted a private fitting, so we closed the store, let him get fitted. It was awesome.
So you closed the store for this guy?
Yeah.
Why?
Because his agent asked for it.
What you're saying? Do you know who that is, Big D?
Mm-hmm.
Who is? Okay.
He's one of the better wide receivers. He's like a top 10 wide receiver in the league. Might be top 5.
Oh, well.
Plays for the Chargers.
Who's that one guy that got fit up in...
Saquon Barkley got fitted up.
Yeah,
Club
Saquon.
champion.
Is his name Saquon?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Saquon got fitted in like Wayne or something.
Sinister Irons. Or Sinister Wood.
Where did he get? Yeah, I think it was at the
somewhere
Wayne
up
store.
in... Somewhere,
I think it was the Wayne store in Philly.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of cool. I guess Steve Garvey was getting fit. Steve Harvey?
Steve Harvey?
Steve
That's
Harvey
the talk show host?
Yeah, he was getting fit yesterday. And
or does he do game shows?
The game
I don't
show.
know.
Yeah, he was a comedian.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he got fit in Sandy Springs yesterday.
Oh, I didn't even hear that one.
Yeah, I
it's so funny, these fitters, we always tell them, we're like, hey, talk to these guys, maybe get a picture, try to post online, stuff like that.
yeah, they never do it.
Well, yeah, rarely. We did get a Nico gave us a pic, but our guys are just sometimes too afraid to ask him, which is fine.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's just kind of cool. I don't know if it really sells anything, but
yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
listen, for me, I know the fitters love it. They're just
yeah, for sure.
They get to say that they're.
Who's the most famous guy you've ever fit? Bo? No?
Well, I think Bo would say no, but I think it's Bo.
Yeah.
It's actually a great story of how I met Bo, because it was literally 99, so like 26 years ago. And it was when we had, our shop. This might have been bigger than our shop. And Everett, who was my mentor, had left. So I'm sitting in there. And at the time, we did kind of fittings, but more what we did was repair, stuff like that. We had like weird brands like KZG, Wood Brothers, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so I'm standing, I'm like, no, to set it up, I was 17 years old. I had grown up for 14 of those years in rural Illinois, and I just moved up to the big city. So that sets up this. So in walks this gigantic black guy, and he goes, I go, hey, how can I help you, sir? Blah, blah, blah. He goes, I want 6.5 or 7.0 rifles in here. And I'm just thinking, at the time, that was like, there was nothing stiffer. In fact, it was almost unheard of. So I go, sir, you sure you want to, do that? Like, they're pretty stiff. Maybe I should take a look, maybe give a different recommendation. And he goes, son, feel my forearm. Throws his arm out there, and I'm kind of like, what do I do? I'm like, okay, so I felt it. And I go, okay, I guess I get the point. So I write up the order, whatever, do the whole thing, and he leaves. Don't think anything of it. Everett comes back later. He goes, so what happened? I'm like, man, there was this humongous black guy that came in, and he goes, and he wanted 7.0s, and I tried to tell him no, but then he made me feel his forearm, and then whatever. And he goes, what's the name? And I said, I looked at the ticket, Vincent Jackson? He goes,
yeah, he goes by Vincent.
Yeah, so that's his real name, and he goes, he goes, do you know who that is? And I said, I don't know, some guy that wants 7.0 rifles in his clubs. He's a big dude. And he goes, that's Bo Jackson. I'm like, no shit. So then, so he comes back in, and I'm telling him this same story. And he just started laughing. He's like, to be honest with you, I love the fact that you had no idea who I was and just treated me like a normal person. And we've been pretty good friends. We hang out, play golf, we work on bows together.
He's a good guy.
He wants me to work out with him. That's going a little too far, in my opinion.
That's funny. Yeah, he called me up one time and was just asking some questions and
he's a good dude.
Yeah, he's like Bo.
So down to earth.
And it's like, yeah, this is Bo Jackson. I'm like, okay.
So down to earth.
Yeah. Yeah,
he spends.
He's a really good guy.
If he's not on the road doing like signings or charity things, whatever, he just sits in like a little closet in his basement that has like guns, bows, fishing equipment, and everything you can imagine to work on him. And he sits there and makes new arrows. He restrings his bows.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he does it all. And he just sits in there.
Yeah.
He can sit in there for 10 hours. He watches History Channel and just...
Well, that's good.
I love him. He's a good dude.
Well deserved. Yeah, he's
teaching Charlie really good on shooting his bow.
That's neat. Yeah, he's playing our Sinister, I believe, in the woods.
He got fitted not too long ago playing Sinister in the woods. We keep trying to get him out of, he still likes like stiff
steel
6.5 Project X.
Yeah.
Trying to get him, he's tested some graphite, but he just can't get to the graphite yet.
I thought he really liked the Sinister irons for a while, so.
Yeah, he always reverts back to these damn rifles.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah,
But he's a junkie on that stuff too. Actually, he's like, hey, Nicky. He's like, I want a loft and lie machine. So I told him which one to buy. Went over to his house, installed it. It's been in there for like two years now.
And used
The
it.
last time I was there was like 3 weeks ago, and it still has never been used. It still has like the tape I left on there.
They're kind of difficult to use. I mean, you kind of got to know what you're doing.
No, well, and he kind of said that. He's like, I'll be honest with you, it's just
scary.
He lives. Well, no, he goes, I live a mile from you guys.
Yeah,
he's
easier
like,
to
it's
bring
way
it
too
over.
easy just to bring him over.
Yeah, for sure.
But he made that decision during COVID, and I think it was just he was bored and he was down there and he thought about it, and then afterwards he's just like, well, now I can just take him over and the guys will take care of him.
Yeah.
But I always think that's another good bow story. Two more. One, I had a kid that worked for me. He'd come during the summer, so just put on grips, like do the little shit around the shop.
Yeah.
We're going back 15 years ago. Maybe even 17 years ago, and whatever. So this kid drove me nuts. He'd want to sit on a chair while he put grips on, and I would go and throw the chair out the back door. And so the one day I'm in a fitting or whatever, and I see Bo come in, and I'm like, oh shit, he's back. The kid's back there. Nobody else is there that day. It's just me and that kid. So I'm like, I tell my fit, I'm like, hey, can you give me a minute? Go around, pay Bo. I'm the only one here. Blah 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 blah. And the kid comes out and he goes, oh, I can help Bo. And first of all, Bo likes like younger people, and he lets me break the rules, but he likes to be called Mr. You refer to the elder as Mr., so it's like Mr. Jackson.
Yeah.
So my kids have to go. They don't go Bo. Hey, Mr. Jackson, and he'll correct them. That's how he is. I like it, to be honest with you.
Great. Why don't you call me that?
Mr. Afable?
Yeah.
That just sounds horrible. Do you want to be Mr. Afable?
I kind of do.
Okay, we'll
like
try.
a Mr. Mura.
Let's not. R.I.P.
Yeah. I guess he passed away yesterday.
Okay, I'll try Mr. Afable. We'll see. That sounds really weird.
Yeah, it's kind of like respect.
Mr. Jackson sounds cool. Sorry, Miss Jackson. This is for real. No, okay, so we go back. Kid comes around. Oh, Bo, I can help you. So I already knew he was going to kind of get set off by that. And, that's why I like Bo, is he's like a total normal guy like us. And then, he has his tics, like... And so anyway, the kid goes, whatever. So Bo's kind of whatever. I'm talking to Bo, and the kid goes, hey, Bo, roll tide. Oh, shit. I couldn't even believe the kid said it. So Bo turns around and stares him right in the eye, and he goes, hey, kid, I'm going to go home. I'm going to get my championship rings. I'm going to bring them back, let you wear them for a day, because that will be the only day that you ever know what it's like to win in life. And he fucking said it so deadpan. Oh, it was great. The kid turned ghost white. I mean, just his face melted. And Bo then goes, I'm just screwing with you, kid. Actually, he probably stuttered like that too.
Hey, does he still have the hiccups?
Nope. Good to go.
No.
It's like scar tissue in his esophagus and stomach.
He had the hiccups for like literally 2 years.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Crazy. I could not. I mean, you've ever had the hiccups for like just 10 minutes? It drives you crazy.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was horrible. I felt so bad
Poor
for
guy.
him.
Yeah.
The last story was last year. He went into the store and it was like winter or something. He had a jacket, hung up the jacket, blah blah blah. Hit some balls, whatever. Left, went home, and he calls me and he goes, "Hey," or he texts me. He goes, "Hey, is my jacket at the shop?" So I text the guys over at the shop. Yeah, it's hanging up there. Okay, I'll go stop by. He goes, FYI, I'm going to screw with the boys. Okay. So I'm like, Bo's just going to do something fun. So he goes in there, he grabs his jacket, and, the fitters are standing there. Everybody flocks to Bo, And he goes and he reaches in his pocket, and he goes, "What? There's missing. Where? What's going? Brad, there was 30 grand in here. It's all gone. Where'd it go?" He goes, "I was just at a signing before I came here. I got paid cash. There was like 30 grand cash in that pocket. We got to figure out where this went." He literally made the whole thing go and then left. He let them think that they stole 30 grand for the day, and they were freaking out. They kept coming to me.
Did they call you?
Well, they immediately called me, and they go, boss. And I'm like, just relax.
Who took it? Just relax and get the person to who took it.
So I had to play. So I was just like, you know what? I'm on a call. I'll come over in a couple hours. I'm sure it's got to be there somewhere. Well, we let it go the whole day, and then told them at the end of the day. And I thought Gerke was going to have a stroke.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. Where's my 30 grand?
That's awesome. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Well, that's all we have time left for.
Yeah, I don't even know what time it is.
Left for time, or time or left. Thanks for coming, man. Thanks for sitting in.
Thanks for having me.
And being in the new podcast room that Big D and I built.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, we're excited about this. This is a turnkey now. We can have every celebrity in here and on the fly and get it going like yourself.
Because celebrities are always coming in here.
You know they are. They are. Anyhow, hey, thanks, man.
Thanks.
Let's make sure just keep it on the surface tomorrow.
Yep, let's do it.
Fairways and greens and don't
I promise to focus for at least 15 of the 27 holes we got to play tomorrow.
Just try not to top. You know what? I think you're going to top it tomorrow.
I didn't look at my phone too much today.
No, I don't really care if you look at your phone. Just play golf. We've got the fans. We're hooking up an air conditioner tomorrow in the golf cart.
We got to find that battery. We need that.
Yeah, we're going to charge up the battery. You put a bunch of ice in a cooler type.
You know what
thing.
I want? Can we put it through the bottom so it shoots at our asses so I don't have swass?
Yeah, we better delete that one.
I don't want swass.
Okay, we're closing out. Peace out.
A-Town.